Now we're making some spaghetti and meatballs, which is one of my favorites, and we're going to make it in a more authentic kind of way. Starting with our delicious tomato sauce, I'm dicing an eschalot and a few cloves of garlic. I find the eschalot gives a great sweet but soft onion flavour. If you can't find them or don't have any, I recommend using half a small onion. Now, one of the tricks to a tasty, authentic tomato sauce is to gently fry the onion and garlic in a healthy amount of good quality olive oil. Now, I'm talking about a good 2 tablespoons worth here. Now, while the onion and garlic are softening over some medium-low heat, let's move on to those meatballs. To hold the flavour and help with the texture, I'm soaking stale white bread in some milk. You can use breadcrumbs, but this is a more traditional and tasty way to make meatballs. Although soggy bread might sound a bit gross, it does help to keep those meatballs moist and flavourful. Once the onions and garlic are soft and translucent, add some passata in. Now, passata is just tomatoes that are pureed with the skins and seeds removed. It's a delicious and delicate sweet flavour. To the sauce, I like to add about a tablespoon of Italian seasoning, half a teaspoon of chili flakes, and some pepper and salt. You can add some more herbs if you like, but I'm just making a simple sauce tonight. To really create that authentic sweet tomato sauce flavour, I like to add in about half a cup of freshly chopped basil. The basil balances out any acidity left in the tomatoes and it makes the sauce nice and sweet. Now back to the meatballs. Crack 1 egg into a large bowl and then add your bread, making sure to squeeze out any of the excess milk. The bread should be soft after being submerged in the milk for about 10 to 15 minutes. Now add about a quarter cup of chopped fresh parsley, 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce, 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning, 2 minced cloves of garlic, and about 3/4 of a cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. The Parmesan cheese adds an amazing flavour and lightness to the meatballs. Make sure to mix the ingredients thoroughly before adding your meat. I like to add the meat last because overmixing the meat makes those meatballs tough. If you like, you can add about a teaspoon of ground cloves, which seem to add an almost meaty aroma, and of course don't forget to add some pepper and salt. Now for the minced meat. I'm using about 75% beef mince and 25% pork mince. Typically you'd use a fattier mince, but I'm using a lean mince here today. The combination of mince helps to increase flavour and texture in the meatballs, but if you don't like pork mince, you can just use beef mince if you like. Now give everything a good mix, being careful not to squeeze the meat too hard, otherwise it will become tough. Once everything is mixed well, divide the mixture into meatballs of similar size. I found that I made about 30 meatballs here. To achieve the maximum flavour, brown the meatballs on 2 sides over medium-high heat in a generous amount of olive oil before adding them into your sauce. Don't cook them to completion here, you only want some colour. The cooking will happen slowly in the tomato sauce. I usually find I'd need to do this step in batches. Don't worry about your meatballs overcooking in your sauce. If you keep the heat to a medium-low, it's almost impossible to overcook them. The flavour just intensifies. Once the meatballs are finished cooking, it's important to add all those leftover bits from the bottom of the pan into your sauce. Those burnt bits of meat are really all full of flavour. To deglaze the pan, you can just add a little bit of water, but I prefer to use about a glass of white wine. Gently scrape the pan to release the flavour into the wine and then add all of that into your tomato sauce. Now submerge your meatballs and cook on a low heat for at least 20 minutes. You can leave them cooking for even up to an hour. You can also do this in the oven on a low temperature if you'd like. Once you're ready, cook your pasta to the packet instructions, remove the meatballs from the pot and add the pasta into that leftover tomato sauce. This ensures a thick coating on that pasta without breaking apart those meatballs. Serve into bowls and add the meatballs on top of the tomatoey pasta and cover with some Parmesan cheese. Just look how delicious these meatballs look. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you give this delicious meatballs recipe a try.